Well, it's great to see everyone this morning. As folks are joining, I'm sure people will continue to join. As you saw, in the email for this week, we posted the information about the hearing that EEC is holding on September 8th, which is, no, it's not September 8th because that's Saturday. I will get the right day. There's a public hearing on C3, and we are happy to help you draft your public comment. We really are encouraging folks to share your experience, to share what has been helpful about C3. Oh, September 8th is a Monday. All right. You're right. I don't know. I don't know what I was looking at. So if you need help with that, please let us know. We posted the slides and the recording that Marissa shared on last Wednesday's Sharing the Mic. And then in reading the advances from the State House News this week, I learned that today at 1 p.m. is the legislative hearing on all the bills related to early education and care. And so I'm going to put in the chat the link to that so you can see. I'm gonna head over to the State House to kind of see the action, but you can see what bills are being heard today. I don't know if you can still sign up to testify in person, but you can always send written testimony. So I'll put that information in the chat. Well, great. It's great to see Shaleena Gaskin here, and I think you have a colleague with you.
Yes, I have my director of success, Karla.
Welcome. Well, we're so happy to have you both join us. And the first question that we ask all 930 callers is for each of you to tell us a little bit about you and how you came to be in your current role. And then we're excited to hear more about Bottom Line.
Awesome. I can go ahead and start. My name is Shaleena Gaskin. I'm the executive director of Bottom Line. And so basically, my quick fun story is I'm not from Massachusetts. I'm from Denver, Colorado. I moved here 3 years ago and wanted to just do a little whim and end up doing this work. I've been in the college access and success realm for about 19 plus years. And so prior to being the executive director, I was the managing director of programs where I oversaw our three core programs and making sure that we're meeting our goals and results and had the student pipeline. And then 2 months ago, I stepped in to be the executive director. So super excited to now lead the region in this next era of the work that we're trying to do in supporting students and not only accessing higher education, but graduating and embarking on their first career. And then I'll pass it to Karla.
Great.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Karla Perez Garza. I also go by Karla. I use the she and AS series of pronouns. And as Shaleena said, I'm the Success Program Director here at Bottom Line. Um, what brought me to this work? I am a child of immigrants who came to this country at a very young age and was knew that the life that they carried uh, was to position me for something more. And so I am in this field because of the people that came before me, and I'm very mindful of where I want to go. I always say that my North Star, so to speak, is helping people pursue their passions in the same way that I was once helped to do the same. Prior to being in this role, I was in Michigan, actually, so was working at a statewide college access nonprofit supporting students access college and was there for about 5 years and then moved to Massachusetts and have been here for another five-ish years. So my career has been education, college access, and success. And so excited to be here to chat with you all about the work that we do today.
Well, we are glad that you both have decided to stay in Massachusetts. And so I'll turn it back to you for to tell us more about your work.
Shalina, you're muted, I think.
This is the
Okay.
hardest part of the 930 call. We've been doing it for 5.5 years, and always this is the part. You did it, Shalina.
Yay! So really quickly, just wanted to give you guys a quick overview of Bottom Line and how we're supporting students in the college access and success programming. And so basically, just want to start with like the problem. Right now, basically the ratio of counselors to students is about 400 to 1, which means that students probably have about 38 minutes to talk about college access or post-secondary education. We also know by 2030, 72% of jobs will require some type of post-secondary education, usually a four-year degree or some type of training. And we know that right now that the cost of a tuition is high. So essentially in 2025, there was about $38,000 that was the cost for school for students to be able to go on to a four-year institution. And in some places, even a little bit more expensive. But we believe like we're the solution. We partner with first generation college students that are from low income backgrounds, really thinking about how are they able to make informed decisions around their post secondary pathway and giving them not only the time and space to be able to really dive in and explore, but also giving them experts in this field to kind of guide them in really identifying and layering what is the best fit for them when they think about their college fit and around affordability in their next steps. So we have essentially two program models. The first one I'll go ahead and talk about, we have an access model where we support students in their 12th grade year, really diving into the college application process. And so we usually follow a model called LEAD. And L stands for list. So we're really supporting students in identifying what is that college fit? What is that college list that you're creating so you understand what schools you're going to research for the year. Then we also do E, which is in LEAD, is around essays and really making sure students have strong essays that really support them and really sharing their story and advocating for themselves. And then A is around applications. We help students apply for every school that's on their college list or show them the steps if they have other schools that are outside of their college list, giving them the steps to be able to apply and the information needed so they know how to properly apply for a school and get the right information to the institution. And then also A stands for aid. And affordability is one of the cornerstones of our work. We're making sure students are not making decisions around their post-secondary pathway that create unnecessary debt. And so when we think about affordability, we're thinking about $3,000 or less for students to be able to walk into their school their freshman year and know that's the gap. And then the last thing is decisions. What schools are they deciding on and making sure that they have real strong choice in regards to the decisions that they're making and they're also informed decisions.
And then I'll speak a little bit to the Success Program. So the way that our Success Program is structured is students are able to join our program through two primary ways. The first is if they were in our Access Program and are attending one of our 18 target colleges, which I just dropped in the chat. The second is a student that was not a part of our Access program can choose to apply to be a part of our Success program. The difference between the College Access and Success program is also that for the Success program, you just have to be a resident of Massachusetts. And so, where our students in our Access program are coming to us, we are coming to the student on campus in the Success program. We also stay with them for up to 6 years or until they graduate from college, whichever of those two things happens first. And so this year's incoming first year class is eligible for support until June 2031, which I think is something that makes us particularly unique in the field. And we've been doing this work for over 27 years, right? The other piece that I will add is much like the Access program uses a lead model, just flip it a little bit. Success uses what's called a DEAL model. So it stands for degree, employability, affordability, and life. Degree is the piece that we can all think of, right? Choosing your major, thinking about what it means to do syllabus review, thinking about connecting to resources on campus, right? Understanding that 504 and IEP plans don't talk to each other from the high school level to the college level, and making sure that students are connected in that way. Uh, Employability is really the part of our curriculum where we're dedicated to making sure that our students are graduating career ready to really land a meaningful first destination post grad. And so that looks like connecting to individuals in the industry that look like them, that want to maybe potentially job shadow a student, right? Or job shadow for a student. It also can look like resumes, mock interviews, all of that sort of piece. We also have aid, which is graduating with $31,000 or less in student loan debt. We'll get to where our numbers are in the next slide. And then the last piece is life. I would say the ultimate goal of our life curriculum is making sure that our students are graduating with a sense of self-authorship, right? Understanding that they are the ones in the driver's seat of their college experience because post-college, they're the ones that have to enter the workforce, right? And lead their lives in the way that they so choose. And so we spend a lot of time talking about how, if you noticed in Cassidy's slide, talking about how their assets based, right, perspective in terms of the identities that they bring to the work. So if you could go to the next slide, Shalina. So if we break it down by the numbers, we like to say get in, which is access, graduate, success, and go far, right? Which is our career component. So 92% of our students commit to college of the 303 that were in access program this last year, and 83% made affordable college decisions. That goes back to the piece of graduating with $31,000 or less in student loan debt. Um, we have a sort of tiered system for that. Most to least affordable. When we look at college students, we served about 1,400 students in the Success program, and our average student loan debt is about $16,795, which is well below, right, our target cap. And then the one of the statistics that I'm most excited and proud of as a part of our work is that on average, our students' salaries post-graduation are 2 times their family income prior to them starting college, which is just really exciting when we think about the the whole family, right, and the impact that these students are having in their communities. And bottom line, students are hired at over 100 partner campuses or companies, excuse me. So these are just some exciting statistics that we like to talk about related to our work. I know it's was quite fast to get through, but these are some of the things we wanted to highlight for all of you today.
And then we just wanted to leave a couple minutes to see if there was like any questions or anything that we can help answer based on the information that we shared.
There is a question in chat. Kim Davenport wonders, can you share if and how you are connected to Chapter 74 program that are offering early education and care?
Um, I don't think that we're right now connected to the Chapter 74. That's some information that we'll have to like dive a little deeper to. And Amy, I can loop back to you, but that's not something that we're currently in the process. I know we're doing some work legislatively that we're leveraging with different entities. And so I don't know if that's something coming up, but currently that's not an area that we're focusing in.
Mhm.
Kate Warren Barnes says, thank you for sharing this important resource. I'm excited to share it with the foster and kinship care community.
Mhm.
Thanks, Kate. How has free community college kind of like entered the chat? Like, what does that look like for your work?
Yeah, so essentially we're really just wanting at the access portion to give students the opportunity to make informed decisions. So if students want to go to a four-year of a community college, like that's something that we support and also guide them to. Since we really focus on four-year institutions, that's essentially not the path that we really dive too much in. And so we're really trying to create strong partnerships with our local colleges, those target schools that Karla put into the chat, to really talk about affordability and also really making sure that students are not just matriculating onto campus, but persisting. But essentially, we know that the four-year institution is the thing that we've been our bread and butter, the thing that we've done for such a long time. And so knowing that it can be more cost effective to do the community college route, we never steer a student not to do it. But essentially, we know that there becomes more, especially when low income first generation students, when they sometimes do the community college route, there might be other barriers that persist, which prolong their graduation. And so we really
Right.
want to push students towards the four-year institution, knowing that if they can consistently stay there, they'll most likely graduate in comparison to those that are going in the community college route.
And,
Thanks.
and the,
And then, oh, go ahead, Carlos.
no, the only other piece that I would add, right, is that this upcoming year, we do have some work that we're doing in the access space around place-based. And so we are going to be at Worcester Tech. So to your point about Chapter 74 programs, right, or more vocational high school programs, really trying to identify how we can also fit into the fabric of those schools and knowing that there's students that very much want to go on to the certificate or 2 year pathway, but at those schools, there's also students that want to go on the 4th year pathway. And how do we work alongside the high school counselors to really make sure that the students that want to go on the 4 year pathway have that support, right? While also providing some other pieces for the rest of the students or the other students. And same goes for the schools that we're exploring currently within Boston Public Schools for this upcoming year. So that's the only other piece that I would add.
Thanks for that. Donna Danette shares, I love the inclusion of data on the impact of the family unit. Thank you. Having married an immigrant who arrived here at age 21 and did not have support advising resources, I recognize how critical this work can be. And Karla, so in my other part of my jobs is I'm adjunct faculty at many different universities in the Boston and Wisconsin area, mostly teaching around advocacy, policy, and leadership. Can you talk a little bit about what the sex success piece? Here we are, like the beginning of a semester. Right now, I teach for Cambridge College, which is also merging with Bay Path. So, as faculty, I'm trying to figure out where Canvas is and where the class is located and what email I should be using.
Yeah.
But can you talk a little bit about that? Because it's that can be a very big transition, and there's not a lot of support out there for that.
Yeah. So one thing I will start by saying is that I believe we have a pretty robust onboarding process for all of our advising staff. They get a month of training. Um,
Wow.
and that includes things from the generalized, how do you read a student bill, to transcripts, to how do you conduct a degree audit with a student, all the way to why don't we have you shadow an existing advisor on the campus that you are to really get a feel for the people and the places and where we're meeting with students. The other piece that's really important to us is every school has, I have 3 success team managers on my team. Every school is assigned a success team manager, and they are responsible for being the experts on what is going on with that college and what changes are coming down the pike. All right. So, for example, a couple of years ago, when UMass Dartmouth changed their housing policy around payment, and when that had to happen before the
Right.
semester started or that students had to be on a payment plan, it was that success team manager's job essentially to not only know that that was happening and creating and fostering those relationships on campus, right, but also thinking about what impact it was going to have on students' experiences and ability to go to campus. And so that then we meet with members of different colleges about once a quarter to
Okay.
really understand the ins and outs of what is going on, what policy changes are happening, what new programs are starting in the upcoming year, right? And potential things that could impede an advisor from successfully being able to support a student. And at the same time, we understand that we are still an external person to the
Right.
institution. And so part of that work is also being really mindful and saying, hey, Amy, in your work at the college, here's how the student is doing from our perspective. How can we have a, a relationship where I can share what's going on and so that you're
Right.
able to also support the student from where you sit within the university. And so that's really important to us in terms of having a bilateral relationship with the schools and where we are and the students that we serve.
It's so important. And Shaleena, as you've been doing this work for almost 20 years, what trends, what changes, what have you seen kind of over time, when you think about this work and connecting people to higher education?
Yeah. I think the biggest thing that we're really trying to focus on now is students understand that education is needed, but they're really questioning the four-year institution. Gig economy is really huge. Students are able to get dollars quicker. And so the thing that we're really seeing that was pre-pandemic, where we're seeing the influx of students going to college, we're seeing a decline after the pandemic, and it still hasn't really steadied out. And so we're really trying to think about new and inventive ways to be able to say to students, especially young men of color, like this is important when we're thinking thinking about long-term, as you're thinking about, entering the job market. And so that's something that we're really thinking about of like, how do we position ourselves differently in front of schools? How are we also connecting more intentionally to community-based organizations or getting at the grassroots of it to demystify and debunk with families, especially low-income students, students of color, that college is needed when we're thinking about the trajectory long term around, being able to have wages that match, the work that you're trying to do. And so I think that's the biggest thing that we're really seeing right now in our conversations. And also, as we're seeing college increase over time, people are feeling like this is just not affordable. And so there are opportunities, as well as scholarships or even just conversations, bottom line is having with our colleges and universities to really push that college is affordable and is needed when we're thinking about this population of students that we're serving.
And thank you for that. I think that's so important. And I think, as people who care about early childhood, right, we know that there has been this tension of a college degree, life experience, how everything connects. And I think, and the sticker shock, I think sometimes when we hear of how much colleges are costing. Amorous wonders, to what extent does bottom line steer students into specific careers? For example, do you steer students away from those careers that have low earning potential, but for which there is a high demand, like EEC,
Yeah.
ECE?
I'll just say this and I'll let Karla chime in. So, no, we're not steering students to anything. It's all about exposure. We have a lot of different corporate partners that we are in partnership with. So, we try to give students opportunities for internships or externships. We also have a large community from people who have actually been a part of Bottom Line and also just our funders or just corporate partners. And so, we try to leverage students to be able to have conversations with people who are in different industries so that they can learn, ask questions. We run two events every year. It's called Empowering the Next Gen. We do one for men and one for young women. And so we isolate them so that these young men, some of them are young men of color, are able to go into these and have conversations around what barriers maybe professionals have encountered, what education did they get? And so our whole mission is just really trying to make sure that we're providing opportunity and exposures for students, and our advisors are equipped to be able to have conversations with students around earning power and potential to the degree. But ultimately, the decision is up to the student. We're just wanting to make sure that they can make an informed decision that best supports them and their long-term goals.
It goes back to self-authorship, right? And
Right.
so they are in the driver's seat. We have this, and we do try to expose them to different individuals that can talk about the careers that they're interested in. So, on top of the Empowering Next Gen events that we host, we also have a platform called Bottom Line Connect. And so in that platform, our advisors are really trained to ask really open-ended questions for students to get to the root of why are you choosing this degree path? And if your answer is the money,
Right.
right, but you don't, which is great and fine, right, if that is why you're choosing it, but you've never really experienced what it's like to be in the field. Let's connect you to someone that can tell you what it's like to be in this industry. And so
Yeah.
whether it's um a high paying industry where they're going to graduate making six figures, or whether it's more of an industry where they won't be, right? It's
Yeah.
important for them to feel like they're the ones steering the ship and making the decision that is best suited for them. I do think that um, when it comes to our young Black and brown men, there is a lot of pressure around being able to provide, right? And the expense of going to college. And so a lot of the conversations that we have are how do we balance both, right? The
Right.
immediate need and desire that you have to provide for your loved ones and your family, while also thinking about the long-term outcomes of why you're pursuing this degree. And so
Right.
that's what we focus on.
Well, Shalina and Carla, thank you so much for joining us and really helping us think through all these pieces and for the incredible work that you're doing. I think we see it. We have interns from, almost every higher ed institution in Massachusetts, excuse me, in the Boston area, and we are just constantly inspired by their kind of what they're bringing to the job. And I think also kind of changing this idea of us learning from them, that just because you're an intern doesn't mean that you just are going to learn everything from us. We have learned so much from our interns. And just really appreciate the work that you're doing and all these connections that you're making. So please come back anytime. We would love to have you back, love to hear the updates. And if there's any way we can be helpful, please let us know.
Thank you.
And
Thank you.
if you send me the slides, I'll include it in the follow-up folder. And I also added Danielle Ewan's latest update from the federal level, which was from August 29th. So you can find that in the follow-up folder, as well as the hearing that's happening today. I put that information in chat. And tomorrow we'll be back with sharing the mic. We'd love to hear from folks who are considering kind of sharing their story about the C3 formula, and happy to answer questions. Otherwise, this is a tough week of transition, so we are sending 9:30 love and persistence to people in the work. So we'll see you tomorrow. Have a great day. Thanks.